Global efforts at slowing carbon emissions have been good, but not good enough. GE Hitachi Nuclear Energy and Southern Nuclear have agreed to collaborate in studying the development of advanced nuclear reactors, and the chief editor of Power Grid International, Electric Light and Power, and Utility Products magazines joins me in the studio. It's Tuesday, November 8th, and this is Power Today. Hello and welcome to Power Today for Tuesday, November 8th. I'm Cassie Haley. We begin today's edition of Power Today with good and bad news. The good news is that according to the UN Environment Program, global efforts at slowing carbon emissions are succeeding. The bad news is that the slowing of emissions thus far is categorized as not nearly enough and not fast enough. The agency's recently released Emissions Gap Report 2016 found that expected 2030 greenhouse gas emissions will need to be cut still further by almost 1/4 in order to avoid a global temperature rise of over 2 degrees Celsius. The UNEP said current commitments will reduce emissions by no more than a third of the levels required by 2030 to avert disaster. We're actually on track for global warming of up to 3.4 degrees Celsius. UNEP further warned that achieving the agreement's objectives will require even stronger actions than previously identified, and accelerated efforts pre-2020, as well as more ambitious emissions-cutting pledges from the signatory nations. Jacqueline McGlade, UNEP chief scientist, singled out coal-fired power, saying that building new coal power plants would be entirely contradictory to the world's emissions reduction efforts. McGlade was quoted as saying, "Anything that leads to an increase in greenhouse gases we see as detrimental. From an environmental perspective, new coal-fired power capacity is just a no-go." You can find more on this story and other power news and information from around the globe at powerengineeringint.com. In other power news, GE Hitachi Nuclear Energy and Southern Nuclear have agreed to collaborate in studying the development and licensing of advanced nuclear reactors, including GEH's PRISM sodium-cooled fast reactor design. Jay Weilman, president and CEO GEH, said, "Southern Nuclear's operational experience, technical expertise, and leadership and innovation are significant strengths that will benefit our work together to support the commercialization of advanced nuclear reactor technology. With a design that can extract energy from used nuclear fuel to generate electricity, our PRISM advanced reactor technology is a game changer." In a memorandum of understanding signed by GEH and Southern Nuclear Development, a subsidiary of Southern Nuclear Operating Company, the companies have also agreed to work together toward participating in future U.S. Department of Energy advanced reactor licensing projects. PRISM is a sodium-cooled, high-energy neutron reactor design which uses a series of proven, safe, and mature technologies developed both in the U.S. and abroad. GEH believes that no U.S. fast-spectrum reactor technology has more testing, design, or operational experience than PRISM. According to an analysis performed by GEH, by using PRISM technology on a commercialized basis, all the world's used fuel could eventually be consumed while at the same time providing enough clean, carbon-free energy to power all global households. For more on this story, or to keep up with the latest news from the world of power transmission and distribution, head over to Electric Light and Power magazine at www.elp.com. We're going to take a short break. When Power Today returns, the chief editor of Power Grid International, Electric Light and Power, and Utility Products magazines joins me in the studio. Please stick around. Inside the Industry is up next. From December 13th through 15th, thousands will be in Orlando for the largest power industry show in the world, PowerGen International 2016. Hello, I'm Cassie Haley, host of the daily power news and information show, Power Today, and I'm here to tell you about a great way to get your message to the PowerGen audience. At this year's show, I'll be conducting content interviews with a select group of companies and thought leaders who recognize the importance of video in marketing their message. These one-on-one interviews will be featured on Power Today and will then be made available to use in any way you'd like. Power Today airs daily across a broad variety of Penwell sites, including Power Engineering, and has become a known and respected brand within the world of power. We take pride in keeping the power industry informed and telling our viewers about the exciting stories, people and companies that are moving the industry forward. This is your opportunity to reach the ideal audience and to make sure your message is heard. I've been speaking with Bill Newsom today about Mitsubishi's J-Series gas turbine, the M501J. There is limited time available to schedule your PowerGen interview, so please don't put off locking in what could be your best marketing investment of the year. I'm Cassie Haley. I look forward to speaking with you at PowerGen International. Welcome back. As the chief editor of Power Grid International Electric Light and Power and Utility Products magazines, Teresa Hansen is a recognized authority in the world of power distribution. She joined me recently to discuss battery storage. Here's today's Inside the Industry. Welcome back, Teresa. We really enjoyed our talk last week about energy storage, and you promised you'd share a little bit more about specific projects that are going on around the country. Can you tell us them?
Since we last talked, I did. I looked at some of the states that are really involved in progressing with energy storage, and I think that California, at least in the United States, is probably the place that is doing the most. They started quite earlier than most of the other states. In fact, I have some notes here that I need to look at, but in 2010, the California Public Utility Commission set up a policy that required the 3 investor-owned utilities in California, and that's Pacific Gas and Electric, San Diego Gas and Electric, and Southern California Edison. They've required them to start at least exploring the use of energy storage out on the grid. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons for that is because of their renewable goals, to have renewables in place. Back in 2013, the Public Utility Commission actually adopted a policy that those 3 utilities have to adhere to, and it requires them to install 1,325 megawatts of energy storage on the grid before 2024. They have to have their plan in place by 2020. And then, in addition to what happened in 2013, just last month, in September, the governor of California, Jerry Brown, he signed really 4 laws into place, all kind of in one bill, that are also looking at maybe adding even more energy storage to the grid, as well as advancing energy storage behind the meter, which is energy storage in the customer premise, whether it be a business or an individual, home. As far as for the 3 utilities, that's going to require them to look at possibly adding 500 megawatts more of energy storage to the 1,325 that's already been.
All right. Why do you think California is pushing so hard right now?
Well, another thing that California did just in the last few months is they raised their renewable goal to 50% renewable energy sources by 2030. So that's less than 15 years. So I think that the grid operators, as well as the legislatures and certainly the public utility commissions, know that in order to meet 50% renewables, they're going to have some grid storage. Otherwise, they're just not going to be able to do it. So I think that's the big push for energy storage in California.
Absolutely. So what are some of the other states doing? What are you seeing?
Well, New York has what they call the New York Rev, and they're doing a lot in energy storage. Hawaii, who has a lot of solar PV already in place, already has a lot of energy storage out there, and they're still doing more. So California's not alone. Like I said, Hawaii, New York, some of the other states in the U.S. that have some high renewable goals are doing the same. And even in Germany, they have a lot of PV, so energy storage is being looked at there. And of course, this is good. I mean, it's great for those states that are really kind of pushing this initiative, but it's great for all grid operators because eventually, all states, the entire world is looking at being more sustainable, and that means putting more renewables on the grid. In order to do that, energy storage must be part of that mix, and so what these kind of leading states are doing right now will be a benefit to everybody, all grid operators.
That's good. Battery storage, it's the future.
It is. It is.
All right, we'll see you next week, Teresa.
All right, thanks, Cassie.
That's going to wrap things up for us on Power Today. You can link to the show directly at powertoday.tv, and you can follow me at @CassieHaley on Twitter. For everyone at Power Today, have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow at noon, 11 Central.